Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are continually pushing in against the American Union here. We have actually managed to take a little bit of straight up American territory, and that I am glad to see. It's not just Canadian and Mexican territory that's falling, but we are expecting Mexico to capitulate perhaps sometime this episode if we continue the push as we have been. I think a nuke here is a really solid idea. There we go. That's a nice one, and we'll get another one in there as well. Because we need to push these guys back. And they have a lot of troops here, so this is a very efficient location to nuke repeatedly. Very pleased about that. Excellent. They're all stacked into one location. Just keep nuking. Okay, we're done nuking now. Excellent. They're pushed back, and let's pop up over here. We see a lot of Canadian troops, surprisingly, right here. Let's go ahead and nuke there. We have air superiority everywhere, so this is completely fine at this point. There we go. We're continuing to push in over here in Nova Scotia. So that is perfect, and we are winning a number of attacks along this front. Hello, pause menu. Let's take a quick look at our supply situation over here. This is much improved. There's no doubt about that. Can we get any additional supply, or rather just straight up infrastructure constructed here? The answer is yes, we can in Southern Ontario, and so we shall. We're definitely going to get working on that. What about down here in Central America? I actually expect that we should have some available here. Yes, we do, and we'll get those going as well. We've now officially cracked into Texas, and that is great. We're very, very pleased about how these pushes are going. We're making good progress, although we are seeing some potential issues. One of those issues that we're seeing is definitely related to manpower. And the question becomes, well, have these invasions gone off? Actually, one of them has, surprisingly. So that means that we no longer need... We don't have this anyway. That is very surprising that this invasion actually went off. But okay. Hello, pause menu. Aren't you repeatedly showing up today? Well, that's a thing, I guess. And as we continue to push in here, we do expect that the US's manpower situation will get worse and worse over time. They are in a very solid manpower situation right now, but we are expecting them to be in a very poor supply situation. Like, essentially what we're expecting right now with this is the situation that the Soviet Union was in history, when they had lots of troops and no guns to give them. We're expecting that situation to develop here with the United States. We're going to have the opposite problem. We're going to have lots of guns and no soldiers to hold them. That's not necessarily a good problem to have. So let's just keep an eye on this. These guys will all stack wipe, and that is perfect. There they go. And we are expecting that this army automatically gets redirected back to the existing order. We'll see if that's true or not. It is not. Okay. So we'll automatically assign, or rather manually assign them over here, and they'll make their way on over. That will, of course, make this front even more solid for us, but you can definitely see our manpower is dropping, and a lot of that is due to garrison forces. We should definitely talk to our vassals and be like, hey, can we have some garrison support? So let's take a look at if anybody is willing to give us that. Not these guys. No? How about Turkey? Yeah, Turkey's willing to give us some. Come on, Turkey, give us some manpower. 1.5 million manpower. Thanks, Turkey. You guys are the best. Okay, so we're going to continue our push in over here, obviously. And these situations are, in my opinion, looking fairly decent, although we definitely need a nuke here. This is a precarious situation that we're in. That looks fine, though. And realistically, I think we're okay on this front. As we continue to bring troops in, we should take a quick look at infrastructure construction, and let's go ahead and get some building over here and over here. Fantastic. We're going to be finishing up a lot of this further back infrastructure, and that is important. We need to continue doing that. But look at all these that we're working on. We're working all the way down to here right now. And as far as anti-air goes, do we need to build more anti-air over here? No is the answer. We don't. This is completely fine. Sounds good. So at this point, we're definitely winning on both fronts, and that is great. For now, we're going to stock up nukes, I think. Remember, we are getting a nuke about every other day, and that is just fine. Our major concern currently is still one of manpower. We are getting about 106,000 per month, which is a respectable sum. There's no doubt about that. But we want more. We are getting some from capturing territory as well, and that is important. The real question is, are we going to start being positive in manpower soon? Because we've been negative in manpower for quite some time here. And let's see here, it's 1 August. Actually, I need to open my folder where I store these videos, because that's where I have my note of when we can run our next war support campaign, political power thing, war propaganda. That's the word I'm looking for. That one. And actually, that was on 9 July 1985. So we can go ahead and do our 12 war support for our 75 political power. We're still negative in the war support. This isn't shocking. And let me note down, let's see here, 1 August right now. So September, October, November. 1 November is when we can do this. So let me get that noted down. Perfect. Okay. So that's great. We are at about 600,000 manpower right now, and we're continuing to be fully stocked here on the old manpower front. We are kind of grinding to a halt over here, but this front is doing fairly well. And that's great. We've got this cleaned up over here, and the question then becomes, do we want to make Canada fall before we attack the US? If we do that, this entire front becomes our front. I feel like this is a shorter front, in all honesty. We can do that and then link these up and have this be like a unified front, kind of like this. So East Coast first is, I think, what we're talking about here. So these guys over here, we would delete their existing order, which is largely irrelevant at this point. Their new offensive line would be essentially the bottom of Lake Michigan down. This isn't the Mississippi here, but it would be like going over to the Mississippi like this. That would be the front. And we'll still have this front up here. So it would be a kind of combination front, but we'll go ahead and get that started. And in the meantime, our southern front is continuing to push up through Mexico. And again, we're expecting Mexico to capitulate fairly soon here. So that is great. We're going to continue looking at infrastructure construction as we get more locations available. And those infrastructures will be built as quickly as possible. We need that done. That is for sure. So that is fantastic. We're just grinding our way across here. And not this attack, but rather this province would be a good location to drop a nuke. In fact, we'll drop 3. 1. Any moment now. Autosaves. 2. And 3. Perfect. There we go. And we'll continue to push up through these mountains. There was a dangerous naval invasion, but I think it's gone. Cool. Overall, I'm very pleased with how this is going. After we got the supply issues up here sorted out. Before that, it was a little bit awkward, to be sure. I do want these guys to start their attack, but you can definitely see here it's a little bit problematic on that front. Decent amount of enemy ships out over here right now, so that's okay. We're not in too big of a hurry on that front. We do have 7 American units here, though. They are all going to stack wipe. This is amazing. I'm very glad about that. We love seeing these stack wipes. And there they go. So at this point, we can see they're up to about 75 million in losses. We're at 32 million. We are still winning this war handily. It's a little slow, to be sure, but we are winning. Now, as far as our air zones over here go, we're going to be pushing past Eastern Canada and New England fairly soon. There are a number of air bases down here that we can work on. Those are not currently very repaired, but that's okay. There goes the United Mexican States. Excellent. We're likely to lose some territory up here as we attempt to make our way up to that front line. We need to modify this front line. This front line is not correct. We want this to go all the way up like that. Okay, let's push the remaining American troops out of here. But Mexico has capitulated, so that is great. Our southern invasion is off to a resounding success, and we do need to make sure to queue up infrastructure over here. We'll get that going. As far as the north goes, it looks like they have a bunch of troops on their way up here. I'm not super surprised about this. I mean, at this point, we have taken Boston. Like, it's not looking great for them. There is a unit over here that we appear to have forgotten about. We're going to assign these guys over here and tell them, go stack wipe these 4 Canadian troops. That'll be fine. They'll get reassigned back over here later on. But we are currently about to besiege New York. In fact, we are besieging New York. There's no about it. We are besieging New York. So that's excellent. How close is Canada to capitulation at this point? Canada is really close. Really close. Toronto has fallen. Where is the next victory point, though? Like, all the way over at Vancouver? I don't know that we're actually going to get Canada to capitulate, and I'm not sure that we want Canada to capitulate, in all honesty. I guess we'll see. Maybe they'll capitulate just with some land loss, but I think it's victory points only. Yeah. I think that's the case. Even the US is now at this point a little ways towards capitulation. 6%. That's great. We are definitely seeing a lot of American troops making their way in. This is unsurprising, to be clear. Now, this over here, I would actually kind of like them to take back the Baja California. That would be nice, because I don't want to deal with getting cut off here at this point. So we'll see if that ends up happening. But we need to finish this off. And to that end, I'm going to delete this order, and all we're going to focus on... What? These are the wrong guys. We're going to delete that order, and all we're going to focus on for now is an offensive line like that. There we go. Helps if you have the right army group selected. That's our only goal. They can take back the Baja all they want. I don't want to deal with that at this exact moment. Okay. So there's definitely a lot of troops moving around. They have detected that there is substantial danger to them. Now, as far as this army goes, this is 24 divisions assigned here out of 30. This guy got promoted. We can actually get 6 more units in here, and we are going to get these 6 in there. So up they go, and these 30 units are, of course, going to be... I think that they're going to push in a bit of a line here. And their line is going to be basically... Oh, that's front line. We want offensive line. Their offensive line is going to be basically from, like, here. Like that. So they can go ahead and get started on that. Their reinforcements will arrive eventually. We're actually winning this attack against the Canadian troops running an American flag. Okay. That's the thing that's happening, but I do expect this attack to fizzle out. We'll see if that happens, if they get reinforcements over here in time. Be nice if they did, but at this point, we have definitely pushed into a decent chunk of Texas. San Antonio and Houston are both on the front lines at this point, and we are very, very happy about this. This is going great. Our manpower is holding fairly steady. And that was not the button I was intending to click on. This is the button I was intending to click on here. You can see that the US is up to about 75 million losses. That's great. We do need to get our war support up, but honestly, as we take out their coastal regions, we do expect that our war support is going to rise pretty dramatically because we will no longer have that trade convoys being raided malice. That's the overall goal here. That said, I don't believe that we are ever going to get to all adult serve because, yeah, we're not going to have that estimated enemy strength ratio of 75% or more compared to our army. So I don't think that we'll ever get there. At least not yet. For the time being, we are continuing to push here. San Antonio just fell. And we definitely need to continue building infrastructure in the back line here, but there's not any to build over there. We can build infrastructure, however, in New York, as well as over here in Canada. So let's go ahead and do both of those. New York has fallen. We're currently attacking Newark. And we're also right on the border with Detroit. So that is great. Our northern invasion is going phenomenally. Our southern invasion is actually making good progress. We have made it onto the Baja, and to that end, surprisingly, we have air superiority in all of these locations. Just from planes assigned to our armies. That's neat. I like it. We are going to go ahead and attack over here. I want to select, say, these guys and tell them that they are going to offensive line right like that. There we go. So they're going to head on in there, and they're going to push up. The Baja is under our control, and this is fine at this point. We managed to get this, but we definitely want to make sure that we're not going to get cut off here. So we want to push in a little bit up over here. Taking San Diego and the surrounding territory would probably be a good idea at this point. So let's go ahead and get some nukes in over there to support that attack. There we go. We're still a little concerned about losing this location. This is a cutoff point to be able to cut off the entire Baja. So I would like to have these guys push up over here. And we don't have air superiority up in Arizona, so that's fine for now. Newark is in the process of falling. Detroit is still holding out. That's fine. And we're definitely making progress over here in Canada. So that's all good. Apparently Canada still has the Great Lakes. Or rather, Lake Michigan. That's cool, I guess. And I believe there's a connection here. So we're definitely a little bit concerned about this still. And this front line is all sorts of messed up and really doesn't need to be up here, because I don't believe there's a connection up here. So we're going to back this off to be like here. And we're going to use the Great Lake here. That'll be fine. Actually, this is Michigan. This is Superior. What am I talking about? Okay. So we're going to continue to push in towards Detroit. Things are going much better over here on this front now. And for these guys, they're still going to be along this pretty long front, but honestly, they don't need to be here. Okay, sounds good. We have successfully pushed in over this way, and that is great. There's still a connection here, so getting pushed here isn't the worst thing. We do want to get that airbase repaired eventually, but for now, I'm more concerned that about infrastructure than air bases. Well, they don't appear to have very much air superiority at all. Like, basically none. We do have New Jersey that we can build infrastructure in, and we'll get started on that. Excellent. We are still continuing to attempt to push in over here, and to that end, I want these guys to make their way over. Oh, they actually are. Never mind. You can stop. Sounds good. We are going to push them fully out of Mexico here, it looks like. And this is great. This is really, really great. You can see our manpower is actually going up right now. And that is exactly where we want to be. This is going absolutely swimmingly. The only major concern right now is this northern army. I feel like it's a little bit undermanned for the line that it's being asked to hold here. And these guys haven't managed to head out just yet. Fair enough. Fair enough. How many troops do we have here? 5? You know what? I'm going to make a new army out of this, and we're going to assign in this general. And we are going to have them simply frontline just right here. That's all they're going to do. Frontline there, with their offensive line plan being, like, here. They'll go ahead and get started on that, and we'll wait until they arrive before we shorten this line, but we will definitely shorten this line. Okay, sounds good. We're meeting some stiff resistance over here in the New York, Pennsylvania area. That's okay. We don't mind that. We are definitely crushing Texas. And that's just fine. We're happy about that. We're going to continue to make our way up here. In fact, these guys need fresh orders. And the orders for this line is basically going to be just push up a little bit. Like, say, up to here. And then meet up with this push. Like so. That's the overall goal here. It's a very long line, don't get me wrong. And we're probably going to want additional troops over here. In fact, this guy could have additional troops right now. And I'm not going to step up recruitment for that. I'm actually very, very content with the manpower situation that we've got going on right now. And I'm not going to attempt to alter that. Has the U.S. fully mobilized their manpower at this point? Yeah, they have. They've chunked into their manpower. For sure. They've lost at least 4 million manpower since I last checked, earlier this episode. So, yeah, they're recruiting extremely heavily right now, I feel like. And that's great. We're very pleased about that. So these guys, it'll take them a while to arrive. There's no doubt about that one. But once they do, we'll be able to back off this line a little bit. And that'll be great. Because we do desperately need to reinforce this line up here. Yeah, and we'll just push all the way up to, like, San Francisco up here. And then we'll get ourselves everything over to, like, the majority of Arkansas. So that'll be great. And as far as this over here goes, the East Coast is going to be some of the fiercest fighting, I feel like. But ultimately, this looks okay. We want to make sure that we're keeping our supply lines good, though. So let's take a look at that. It all looks okay. It looks like the U.S. has maxed infrastructure in most of their states. So that's good. That's very good for us. Because we don't have to build that infrastructure now. But we are making some serious progress here, to the point where we might have this done before the 6-month anniversary of this series, which would be awfully nice. This has gone on a long time, for sure. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, I'm super pleased with how this battle is going. We've got plenty of nukes, and these guys are going to be arriving eventually. Are any already there? No, I was thinking maybe these forces coming from Brazil might already be there, but they are currently not, and I'm not exactly sure where they are. Where are you? Ah, you're departing from Cuba. Okay, sounds good. And of course, the reason our manpower is going up right now instead of down is because we're conquering this territory away from the US, and that's also a big part of the reason why the US's manpower is dropping. That's something to keep in mind. They're down to 10 to 13 million. Huge. Absolutely huge. We haven't taken control of any additional states yet, but that's fine. Hello. This is an autosave. And just like that, 850,000 manpower. Just what we want to see. We are sieging Washington. How close is America to capitulation? Whoa! They're 44%. At this rate, we might get them to capitulate next episode. I feel like the odds on that are long, but we're getting close to the end here. Speaking of the end, it is time to put a cut in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we are going to continue these insane gains. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.